girls, so I've been taking a look at your graphs. A couple of things, most of you are doing them well, but you know they have to be U-shaped or N-shaped. So I got a couple of graphs where you must have known you went wrong because the shape of the graph was wrong, but you still plotted it. So you have to keep going back and forth until you get it right. So what I mean is some people had graphs that went up and then down again, or was zigzag. You know that's not right. The places you're making the mistakes are again the usual 0, -4 where you're crossing here. Okay, so that's a picture of question 9's graph. That's a picture of question 10's graph. And that's a picture of question 12's graph. I didn't do question 11's. Okay, most of you have them looking reasonably well, but a few of you have some difficulties. So I'm going to work with question 9's graph for the next little while, and then I'm going to ask you to do what I do with question 9's graph to your question 10, 11 and 12. Okay, so there's loads of different questions you can be asked for this. The first question you'll be asked is, what are the roots? So I'll do this in yellow. Okay, so you'll be asked for what are the roots of your graph. So your roots of the graph are wherever, I should have done it in yellow, sorry, wherever it crosses the graph at the x-axis. Okay, so the other thing about your graphs are some of them are too narrow. So you see the way I spread my points out so big, so this graph is massive looking. That's what they're looking for you to do. Okay, so you're easily able to point out your roots. So these would be my two roots. So my roots are along the x-axis. So my roots are x is equal to 1.5 or x is equal to minus 0.75. So your roots are wherever you cross the x-axis. You may not have two roots, you may only have one root, and that is okay. All right. The next thing they will ask for is a minimum or a maximum. So this depends on the shape of the graph. So in this case, I have a minimum. So my minimum is wherever the smallest part of my graph. So my minimum is my smallest part of the graph, and it's the bottom of the graph here. Okay, and you may be asked to give the point at which I have my minimum. So my minimum point here, the last point that I come down on, is this point here, which is 0, -4. So that's my minimum. If the graph is shaped differently, you won't have a minimum. So for example here, you wouldn't have a minimum, you'd have the opposite to a minimum, which is a maximum, which is up here. Okay, so you've got roots and minimums and maximums. The next part is you'll be asked, where is your graph going up or going down? So where is my graph going up and where is my graph going down? So you have an increasing and a decreasing. All right, so you're increasing, that's where the graph is getting bigger, and you've got a decreasing part. And where is that happening in your graph? Okay, so I am decreasing from here all the way down because I'm going down. Okay, I stop at the minimum and then I start increasing all the way up. Okay, so how do I tell them that? Okay, well, I tell them that I am increasing from here all the way up. So I'm increasing from x is greater than 0. Okay, because the x value here is 0 at the minimum point, and then from here on up for point 1 and point 2 I'm increasing. For decreasing, I am x is less than 0. So from here, -1, -2, I'd always be decreasing. Okay, that can be take a little while to get. So you're looking for roots, a minimum, a maximum, an increasing and a decreasing for your other graphs. So there are other ones that we have to do, find values at specific points. But if I do too much, you will struggle, okay? So I want you to find for your graphs, I want to find the roots. So that's wherever I cross over the x-axis. In this case, I have 2. A minimum point, which is where is the lowest point, or if it's question 11 or 12, there will be maximum points. And then I want you to highlight the bits that are increasing and decreasing and try your best to give them labels. And I will do those for question 10 and 12, and if I get chance I'll graph question 11, girls, but I'm under a bit of pressure in terms of time to get that done, but if I can get it done I will. So your homework for the weekend is to find the roots, the minimum or maximum of your three other graphs, and highlight your increasing and your decreasing. Now, if you're still struggling, if you take a look in your book on page 409 and 410, they do those out as well for you. So there is another example of a different graph, and they're done for you in your book. So you have this video, but you also have the examples in the book. And the examples in the book, sometimes because you're able to sit and look at them, might work a little bit better for you. Okay, so again, question 10, 11, 12, your three more graphs. I want roots, minimums or maximums depending on which you have, where it's increasing and where it's decreasing. And I'll be back and talk to you on Monday. Okay, take care, have a nice weekend, girls, and talk to you soon.